worker was killed by a hydrogen blast. Progress Energy reported that an accident that killed a company technician was caused by a hydrogen explosion. You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm an average North Carolinian. I pay my taxes. I serve my country in the Marine Corps. But you know, it really seems that there's more important things that this state's legislature should be focusing on than workers' compensation reform. This weekend I read an article about workers' compensation reform. It said that Goodyear has spent $133 million since 2000. I thought, geez, that's a lot of money. But then I thought, how much has Goodyear made since 2000? I went on their website. Goodyear has made $189 billion. Billion dollars. Well, $133 million is 0.07%. 0.07%. If you make $30,000 a year, that's the same thing as 20 bucks. 20 bucks. If I called my legislator and I said, you need to change the law so that I could save $20, I would get laughed at. That made me angry. So I began to research what this workers' compensation reform really does. Well, one of the things that it does is it allows you to have your benefits restricted to 500 weeks. Weeks. No matter how seriously you're injured, you are going to be measured in weeks. Well, what does that mean? Well, to us taxpayers, what it means is after that 500 weeks, they're going to rely on the government for their medical care. They're going to rely on the government to subsidize their life. So instead of putting that burden on the company that was responsible for it, it shifted to the taxpayers. But it gets worse than that. When you look at the bill itself, the teacher, for example, would have to be forced back to a job that wasn't the same as being a teacher. So she goes to college, she loves her students, she teaches her students. But this new law, it would make her come back potentially as a lunch lady. There's nothing wrong with being a lunch lady. But geez, it certainly seems that you should be able to go back to work in the job that you were hired for. But there's even worse things than that. The company would be able to talk to your doctor about your medical condition without your knowledge. How are you feeling? Are you in pain? Well, you won't get to answer those questions because the workers' compensation adjuster will be talking to your doctor directly about it. There are simply more important things that North Carolina ought to be focused on. This is wrong. And I, for one, I'm going to call the governor and I'm going to let her know that I appreciate that she supports workers and I encourage you to do the same.